Hello everyone, this is the Paper Princess, and I posted this album a few weeks ago online and got a lot of requests for a tutorial. So this is my first time making a tutorial and I hope you like it. So this is the album that we're making. I just added the mermaid, you don't have to, but the paper's beautiful, and I have a walkthrough on my YouTube channel, and I'm just going to show you what you need to get started, and we're going to get started making the base album. So I used 90-pound or 90-point chipboard. It's 8.5 by 11, and because the sizes that you'll need are 8.5 by 10.5, it's easier to get the 8.5 by 11 rather than the 12 by 12, because you just need to cut a 1/2 inch off the top. So you would need 2 pieces of 8.5 by 10.5, and I made the spine 3.5 by 10.5 because it's pretty thick. There's a lot of flips and flaps and you need room to put your pictures. So that's what you need. I'm going to show you the paper packs that I used. Let's see. So the decorative paper that really stands out is the 49 in Market. I used 2 packs, the Shipwreck and Seaside. And then the rest of the filler papers for accents and flaps, I used these, I think they're 48 pack. One is Beyond the Shore, and the other one is this Serene Oasis by Recollections. You can use any nautical or ocean themed paper pack, but the real highlights are these 49 in Market. You will also need, I have a tape gun. You absolutely have to have undo. It just can't be avoided sometimes. I use 3/8 inch score tape and 1/4 inch score tape. I have a nice ruler here that has all by the 16th, so if you can get one of those, that's helpful sometimes. Bone folder, scissors. I have this, picks off the backing of the tape, makes it easier. It's from Creative Memories. A cutter, scissors, pencil, and I use a tearing tool that I just made. I took a piece of plastic and put a foam pop dot on it. Not absolutely necessary, but it helps. And you're gonna need magnets. So I use basic gray, the small ones, and sometimes you need the large ones if it's a real thick pocket that you're making. You can use any kind of magnet, up to you. But I like these the best myself. And that's it. So let's get started on the base page. So you take you need 2 pieces of what I use. Let me show you that. I didn't show you one. For the cardstock, I like 80-pound rather than 60. 100 is a little too thick, but I used American Crafts. You can also get cardstock. Country Craft Creations has the same, like a nice 80-pound. So if you can get this, that's my favorite. All right. So we're going to take 2 pieces of paper, and you need to just make a 1/2 inch score line here and put tape. This American Crafts has one side is like a linen, it's got texture to it. The other side is smooth. So you want to put the tape on the textured size, so when you lay it down, the underside of your book is the smooth and the outside is the beautiful texture. So you're going to put score tape here and glue that down. Okay. What I like to do also is I just go to the post office and get some of this plasticky Tyvek material, and to put in the middle where the spine is. It just gives it a little extra support, so when you're bending the book, it doesn't crack the paper. So what we're going to do first is we're going to put tape on the back of our chipboard. Let me get that. Okay. So if you have, the larger the better. I have some 2-inch, they're 2.5 inch. Otherwise, it takes a lot of 3/8 inch tape to cover your chipboard. So let's go ahead and get started, and we're going to cover these chipboards with tape. Here we go. So I made this book during quarantine because all I kept thinking about was going to the ocean. And well, I'm sure you'll have lots of pictures. This book will hold a lot. So here I go. Whoopsie. Got stuck. I can get around that. It's just not worth picking it up. So I'm sure a lot of you had made these base albums, and I'm going to be showing you the base album, but as far as the hinge goes, I don't have a license to teach the hidden hinge system. It's from Paper Phenomenon. Kathy Orta King designed that. And if you want to, when we get to that part, a lot of you know how to make a hidden hinge already, which is fantastic. But if you don't, you can go to the Paper Phenomenon website, and it will be there, and you can learn how to make that. If you get into making these albums, you're going to need to know, because it's really a great system. So I have a little bit extra down here. I'm going to take some more of my 3H. Someone taught me a while ago to hold the tape like that. It gives you a little more control. So if you want to try it out, you can. Yeah, just try to fill in any spaces. Okay. Here's this one over here. And my spine. And before I stick these down, I want to also cover my Tyvek with tape. On my website, for the walkthrough, I have all the measurements of the pages and all the flaps. So if you don't, I think you have to just click, there might be a pull down tab under description, and you'll see all the measurements there, but we'll go over them. Okay. And I think I'll put some, even though there's some sticky up here. Yeah, like I said, it's sticky. Okay. All right, any extras that sometimes there's some on the edges, I just cut them off. Okay, so what we want to do, you got your two papers here that I had told you. Just score 1/2 inch. You put score tape on the other side and just stick them together. When you always want to dry fit it first, just to see, you know, where everything lays out. And what I do, we're gonna have some spaces between here. What I do is I take 2 little scraps that I cut off 1/2 inch and I taped them together, and I'll put those in between here, so that's the amount of space that you're gonna need so you can bend the book. This one's pretty thick because of the spine. I made it wider because there's gonna be a lot of room for pictures, so it just thickens the book. But what you do is you wanna make a line approximately, you know, you see where it lines up, and I have about 1 inch. Yeah, it's a little more than 1 inch. 1.25 inches on one side, and then another straight line going here. I made a pencil mark, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but what you really mainly need is this corner right here. And so that's where you're gonna put down. What I like to do before I peel off the tape, give it a nice burnish, so it sticks really well. And it's fun too. There we go. So I use this, it's a universal tool. I forgot the exact name, but it's by Creative Memories, and it lifts up this tape so well. So I do that. It also can hold down your board. See? Now, the rule of thumb is you always measure twice before you put down. So you dry fit things before you take off the tape and make sure it's where you want it to be. Because once this is down, this score tape is pretty strong. All right. So I'm going to find my corner here. It lines up with the line on the bottom, and there it goes. Okay, the next one. Before we lay down this spine, I want to put my tie back down. Which I should have done before I put that, but I can get away with this. Let's see. There's no exact measurement on it, just as long as it's a little wider than your 3.5 inch spine. Okay. This one's giving me trouble here. All right, very sticky. I'm going to lift this up just a little because I want to just put a little bit of this under my first piece. I just got ahead of myself. But whenever you make a mistake, and you're always bound to, this undo that's what it's there for. It doesn't ruin your paper, which is amazing. It'll lift up anything and without tearing your paper. So that's all the space. I just need a little bit. I'm going to put this under here. Again, this isn't absolutely necessary. I just like it. Gives it a little more enforcement. And there's some other things I'm going to show you too. I have some bookbinding tape, and that gives it a little more support from cracking. So we will do that after the hinge goes in. Tape got lifted up a little bit, no problem. There we go. Now my spacer, I'm going to put that right here. I'm going to put my spine right up to it. Lines up. Okay. Okay. And now the back side. This won't be going anywhere. It's going to be on here good. Okay, here's my spacer again. Line it up. And there we go. Very nice. Okay, put this away. Now, I just want to bend a little here. Get the paper. We gotta make some folds and tape this down. All right, now we're going to take our 3/8 inch tape, and we want to go on the chipboard and also on the edge of this tape on the paper here. So we're going to go all the way around. I wound up using this 8.5 by 10.5 album size pretty frequently. Became my new favorite. You just do so much with it. So I think you're going to enjoy this. And then I want to go all along the edge of the paper. We're going to be cutting the corner here, but I like to put the tape first so it gets everywhere I need it to be. Whoops, and we are out of paper here. I mean, out of tape. So I have a new roll. I buy lots of this. can't live without your score tape. So let's see, where's my beginning here? This is going by pretty quick, and then we'll get to the really fun part, making all the flaps. All right, so I'm going to burnish this down. Pretty much anytime I put score tape down, I want to just give a good burnish. A lot of people have a bone folder, regular plastic one. I found this Teflon one at a stamp show about a year or so ago, and I just love it. So there's that option too. Okay, now we want to cut our corners. So let's see. I have a mitering tool, and I got this at colorwaysarts.com, but I'll show you what I do here. So this you just put in the corner here and draw a line, and that's where you're going to cut. See, that's why I lay the tape down first, because you can get right up to the edge. Okay, so I'm gonna take the tape off, the bottom one first. And I'm just, we already bent, I start in the middle first, so I just push like that and keep going. Roll it up there. There we go, and then you give that a good burnish. There, it's nice. And I just take in here, not too hard, but I just, because we're going to be folding here, so I just do a little bit. Okay. Now we'll do the top. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in the middle. little tough not having as much paper. This has got about 3/4 of an inch because it's 12 by 12 paper. So 3/4 on the top and bottom is about what I have to work with. But it'll stay. We got a lot of strong tape there. Okay, now the sides. Now, here's the trick. These corners right here, we want them to fold real nice. So you take your bone folder and you kind of just press in a little there. See? You take this and press that in. And then go from the middle again. See, that gives you a nice corner there. So we'll do the same thing again. Okay. Squish this in here a little. Kind of like you're wrapping a present. You want your edges to be nice where you fold in. Now, as far as the bookbinding tape, I used to do it after I had the hinge on, but I found it's easier if I give a good wrap before the hinge goes on. So this is bookbinding tape. It's got a cloth-like feel to it, and it just helps because this is going to bend a lot. So I just like to give that extra little bit of support. So you don't have to if you don't want to, but I'm going to start it over here and then go around and come around the other side. And you're going to be covering this up with decorative paper. Okay. We'll do it again on this side. It's kind of nice when you watch different tutorials. You get little tips from each person. And you can use things you like and don't use the things that that doesn't work for you. Go. And now I'm going to go make my hinge. So just like I said, you can go to paperphenomenon.com and you're looking for the hidden hinge system, and I will make that and then show you what it looks like after I already made it, but I can't teach you how to make it. There's lots of tutorials online though, and I think a lot of you, if you're into making these scrapbooks, have done this before or know someone who's done this before. But like I said, you could just go to Paper Phenomenon, and she's got a lot of nice paper there, a lot of nice album tutorials. So you can't go wrong there. So we'll be back shortly.